Hello, I'm Jim Hall. On this special edition of Community Update, we introduce you to William McMurray, an inventor who believes he's come up with a safer way to secure your guns.
I'm here today to talk about a problem that plagues all our communities, and that's gun violence. Gun violence comes from an attitude, but sometimes there's tools that you can use that gives you a better chance of surviving and coping with the problems that our society face today. You all know about the tragedies that we've heard in recent days about mental illness and guns getting in the wrong hands. Well, I'm here today to introduce the RACK. The RACK is an anti-theft and storage system for firearms. It's something that I invented and that I came up with because I got sick of hearing about kids accessing firearms being stolen, and suicide of people because at the time they made bad decisions. We feel that if the RACK is in effect, that you have one more transaction, one more step before deadly force is accessed. And sometimes that's all it takes, is for you to have cooler minds to prevail, conflict resolution. It's not as bad as it seems. So sometimes we just feel that if you have one more transaction before you reach deadly force, it might make a difference. So the RACK is made out of high carbon steel, and it's mounted here on this plexiglass just to show how it can be mounted. We have a toy gun here to illustrate how you can put on a 5-inch rack one handgun. We put a foam protector between it, and then we can add an additional handgun. Once it's in place, we simply pull from the back, and now your firearm is secure. This prevents unauthorized use of your firearm. To show you the whole process today, I'm going to take the time to open a package and show you how it is, because at this point, we just want you to have a choice. If you have a safe, that's fine. If you use trigger locks, that's fine. But this is just another option of something that you can use to keep your firearms from being accessed by others. So in every pack, you don't have to buy one kit for one gun, or one kit for one rifle, or one kit for one assault rifle. Assault rifles, shotguns, and handguns all fit on the RACK. And the benefit and the competitive advantage of our product, in our opinion, is that one, it can be mounted, as you see here. And you can put more than one firearm on it. And you could put rifles on here, and you could put assault rifles on here, and you could put shotguns on here. But in this case, we just show you 2 handguns. So in every kit, we give you 3 keys, because we do not get into key replacement. We give you the important clip for mounting. We give you 2 washers, and we give you 2 lag bolts for mounting in the closet in the stud of your wall. If you're doing a different type of surface like concrete or in a vehicle, you'll need a different fastener. We give you 2 plates. We call these plates by name. This is a clean plate. This is for a 1911. What does that mean? That means when there's no area behind the trigger house, you can put that particular firearm in place. For a smaller area behind the trigger house, like this particular 40 cal, this is the perfect plate, as you see for this particular plate. And that's how it would go, behind the trigger. The one that's in place currently in the packaging when you buy it, this one is bigger. This would be for an AR-15 or a Sig Sauer. As you see, this particular plate does not fit behind the trigger house. You will not be able to slide the firearm on this one. So here's how you deal with your RACK once you open it. First thing is you must remove the end cap. And I mess up my fingernails that way, but you can use a screwdriver or the clip that we've given you to do that, but I did it with my fingers. Then you have a spring load post. This is the post. The post comes out, and then you immediately clip it, as so that now you can install the RACK. Then you take the post off. Now you have all 3 to choose from, but this is the key. For mounting, you put it in these 2 holes. Lag bolts fit perfectly in here if you're mounting in the stud of a wall. So in this particular case, I would put it in the stud of the wall. You could get a stud finder, or you can tap And here, I know not to put it here because this is hollow, but you would find the strongest part of the wall or the surface, and that's where you would mount it. You would draw the holes, then you would mount it. Then you and we're going to do it for this firearm. So we're going to pick the right plate. So again, I showed you this plate is too big, but this plate fits just right. So once I have it mounted into the surface, then I get the right plate, and you always put it next to the post, not the swing arm. That's wrong. The right way to go in is like this. So I'm gonna set it down, and we're gonna act as though this is the surface we mounted it in. Now we simply slide this post down the track. And it'll always go easy if it's right. You don't have to force it. And it went straight in, and you heard it engage, and now it's into the slot. So the end cap is really cosmetic, but we'll put it back in place. And now we go behind the trigger house and in front. And so that's what you would see. Then you always pull from the back, gravity, take it out, and now no one's gonna steal your firearm when it's mounted on the rack. This is our simple solution. Again, we have a square or a rectangle that can be mounted on a surface and receive the trigger house of your firearm. And that's basically how the rack works. We've been successful for over 15 years now. And we sell to over 118 law enforcement agencies and sheriff's departments around the country and about 9 around the world. And we are very satisfied that we've never had a complaint or a return. We give 100% money back guarantee, and we've never had a return or a complaint. That's what we're most proud of. We tried to engineer this product considering what our customers have always told us. They want a product that's reliable, that will not scratch their firearm. That's why it's rubber coated. The firearm will never be accessed to metal. It's always rubber on every aspect of where it's housed. And again, we have this protective coating in the 5-inch rack that can go between 2 firearms. And so what we want to do is make this the new standard for Americans to use to keep their firearms, their rifles, their handguns secured from intruders, from children accessing firearms. So we want you to consider the rack. RAC means restoring American confidence. We believe in restoring American confidence in responsible firearm ownership. We're not never trying to tell nobody what to do. We just want to give you a better option of what you could do in your home, up north in your cabin. A lot of people go hunting. They can't take their safe up north, but they can take a rack or two and install these while they're in the tree blind. We hear countless stories of how locals break into cabins while you're in your tree blind, they stealing your rifles. So this is another example of how it takes a few minutes for you to take this apart, as we see, and we're going to do it one more time and put the other plate in. Remove the end cap, spring load here, then slide it and catch it. If you can do those two things, you've done the hardest part of the rack, which is to take the end cap off and to clip the post. Once you've done that, to put this back in the packaging, I'm going to put the original, what we call the thick plate. So thick plate, thin plate, clean plate. Thick plate is for AR-15s and SIG Sauers. This one is for 38s, 40 cals, Glocks. This one is for 1911 style 45s. That means no area behind the trigger house. This is also good for shotguns because you're only going to use the post to keep it in place. So once we've done that, again, and you see this little track here, it goes straight down the track. And once it's in place, remove the clip, check it to hear that click to know it fell back in place, pull from the back, and there's your rack, ready to go back in the package. So again, we'll be doing this in your community. We want all Southfield and Oakland County residents to consider the rack as a viable solution for your firearm storage and security needs. We think that this device that has satisfied over 450,000 people since 2003 is ready to really take off now and to be in your home or your vehicle or in your cabin or in your home. But the key is for you to understand it, to understand how it works, the simplicity of it, We also want you to pass the word to other people. If you're not a firearm owner, we understand that, but maybe you can share this with somebody like your grandchildren or your children that you know have kids in the house, and you never want a tragedy like that to happen to them. The rack is available. All you have to do is contact us at www.theamericanrack.com. Here's our website here. And if you contact us, we'll be glad to answer any of your firearm questions or needs. We also are a full service concierge to tell people and give people referrals to CPL trainers, advanced tactical training, the proper way to store firearms. Say you have 7 or 8 firearms, we can tell you some people need a safe. Everybody don't need a rack. Some people got so many firearms they need a safe, and we get that. But when you only have to secure 1 or 2, we think the rack is a very good solution. And I really appreciate the time today to let this be something that I share with your community and with our citizens. What we want to do is always keep our community safe, and we want to keep our firearms and our Second Amendment right to bear arms. It's a right, but it's also a responsibility. Thank you.
We hope you found this program informative. We remind you that there are many products out there to secure your guns. If you have questions about what's the best one for you, contact the Southfield Police Department.